Sightings of a sea monster in Lake Ontario go back for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Every native tribe that lived within this area believed that this lake was home to a monster. The first Europeans that lived here, well, they claimed the same thing. One of the first documented sightings happened to a French explorer. He wrote in his journal that he saw a monstrous snake-like creature that moved like a caterpillar before disappearing back into the depths of the lake. Then in 1805, 4 fishermen saw what they thought was an overturned rowboat just bobbing up and down on the water. And as they got closer, they realized that this was not a rowboat, but only part of a huge snake-like creature with very large eyes. And they estimated that this snake was 150 feet long. Now, most cryptozoologists believe that it's possible that these fishermen saw some sort of unknown serpent, but maybe they over-exaggerated the size considering that the largest known snake to ever live on this planet is only estimated to be 40 to 50 feet long. The next sighting happened in 1817 when a ship crew claimed that they saw a huge dark-colored monster in the water, and they estimated it to be about 40 foot long and 1 foot wide, which is a lot smaller than the previous sighting but still huge, and the natives did say that this lake was home to many sea monsters. And that makes perfect sense, because if this is an actual living breathing animal, then it would need a good population of them in order to survive. There was another mass sighting, an amazing claim in 1833 by a steamer crew while they were in Kingston Harbor. They estimated that the creature they saw was 175 feet long, and the captain even stated that it looked like an earthworm with no observable face. Then in 1867, a local newspaper put in an article that read, "Another report of the appearance of the great snake or water monster in Lake Ontario has reached us. We have it from reliable citizens who reside on the lake shore in Parma, New York. Just as the sun was setting, this monster was seen in the water close to shore. A drove of cattle were drinking the water when the huge monster was seen, as it raised its head above the water and started to approach the shore where the cattle were drinking, intending no doubt to take an evening meal of fresh beef. The noise made by the animal as it came into shallow water frightened the cattle, and they ran back in great fright. Then half an hour later, the same drove of cattle sought to drink at a place 50 rods west of the spot where they first were, and yet again they were scared away by this monstrous snake. The occurrence drew to the beach several persons and caused a great sensation." Now this is an amazing claim, as how big would a snake or any animal have to be in order to see cattle as dinner? Then in 1877, another crew on a steamship saw a huge creature, but they said that it had small legs and a tail. Another sighting claimed that it had the mouth of a crocodile, and many others stated that it had huge eyes. One of the most bizarre claims happened in 1931 when 2 doctors were out in the lake, when they saw a creature they claimed was 230 feet long, had 1 eye, and had 2 antler-like horns on his head, very similar to Native American legends. That was kind of amazing how many sightings there were during the 18 and early 1900s, and I'm sure some of them were probably exaggerated, but I do believe that there could be, or could have been, some sort of large unknown snake species that lived in these waters, or maybe something else entirely. But whatever this was seemed to have just disappeared as the sightings just stopped coming in. Now, interestingly enough, not too far away from Lake Ontario is an ancient Native American structure known as the Snake Mound or the Serpent Mound, and this structure is huge, making me wonder if the ancient native people of this land had also encountered some sort of serpent-like monster. There are also many sightings of a sea monster in Lake Erie, and in some of these sightings the description is very similar, if not the exact same as the sightings in Lake Ontario, and Lake Erie is right next to Lake Ontario. In 1817, a ship crew reported that they saw a dark-colored serpent that was 30 to 40 feet long. Then the exact same year, another crew on a ship saw a similar creature, except they estimated it to be about 60 feet long, and they shot at it with a musket, but the gunshot had no visible effect whatsoever. One of the most famous sightings happened in 1892 when many people on a boat saw a huge creature that appeared to be fighting something in the water. And when it was done, it calmly floated right alongside the boat, and according to all these eyewitnesses, its head was out of the water by about 4 feet. Its body was about 50 feet long and it had flippers and sparkling eyes, basically describing a plesiosaur. And according to my research, a plesiosaur could grow up to 50 feet long. And there have been many other sightings, but they are far less now than what they once were, just like in Lake Ontario. And this monster in Lake Erie is now known as Bessie. Now it would seem that there are 2 different types of monsters in both Lake Ontario and Lake Erie. One that seems to be just a huge snake, longer than anything we have on record, and the other that resembles a plesiosaur. and the sightings have definitely reduced greatly compared to the 19th and early 20th century. In other news, a couple of weeks ago a boat captain in Loch Ness was taking a group of tourists for a boat ride on the loch, when one of the tourists saw a huge object on the sonar, and the captain, Mike, could not believe how big this thing was. He had never seen anything that big before, and that's pretty interesting considering how many hours he has spent on the loch. Now they estimated that this, whatever it was, could have been up to 25 feet long, and they ruled out a dead tree or anything like that because this huge creature was moving like a fish, making this a very interesting sighting or sonar hit. There is nothing even close to this size that officially lives in the loch. The biggest known fish is the Wells catfish, and they are huge and they can grow up to 9 feet long, but that is still a lot smaller than the sonar hit. The other possibility is a sturgeon. Sturgeon can grow to monster sizes. The biggest one ever caught was 27 feet long in a river in Russia, and there was another one caught in 1827 that was 24 feet long. But there has never been a sturgeon caught in Loch Ness. There is a claim that one was caught in the River Garry, and the River Garry is connected to the loch, but according to my research this claim has never been proven. So it does make us wonder, what was this creature that was under Mike's boat? And could it be proof that the Loch Ness Monster is still alive and swimming in good old Loch Ness? Now there are so many sightings of monsters or unknown creatures with very limited or no evidence at all, making it hard for many to believe these eyewitness accounts. But there are cases out there where the eyewitness does get some possible evidence, like the Roger Patterson footage that we're still debating to this very day. Some believe it's undeniable proof that Bigfoot does exist, and some believe that it's just a guy in a suit. And there is a case that involves a huge snake, and I wanted to cover this real fast as I was reminded of this while making this video. In 1959, a colonel and his crew were flying back from a helicopter mission in Africa when they saw a huge snake below. And this snake was so big that they wanted to get another look, so they flew the helicopter back around, and the colonel estimated that this snake was about 50 feet long. He stated that he felt like if he was flying any lower, the snake would have attacked the helicopter. And they were just so shocked by what they were looking at, so they took a picture. And allegedly, the CIA even analyzed the photo, and they estimated that this snake was not 50 feet long, but 175 to 200 feet long. Now there are a lot of websites out there claiming that this is nothing more than a hoax, but they still can't prove it. Even Bill's channel looked into this, and they couldn't prove it was a hoax either. Now there's no doubt in my mind that the pilot believes that he saw something that just shouldn't exist.
And I would say the snake I saw there was close to 50 foot. Close to 50 feet. I don't know you say 50 foot or 50 feet, but very close to certainly.
This is one of those rare cases where we have an expert witness and an excellent photograph. Analysis of the ground features suggests that this animal was indeed at least 40 feet long.
Until next time, this is Paranormal Junkie. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned.